Welcome back to Life Groups. We are talking about the book of James during these weeks together. We call it the book of James, but it's really, if you look at this document, it's a letter. It's written from a Christian leader to a group of Christians giving instructions. And today we're talking about the third chapter. And the third chapter of James is about our words. Listen to this. Not many of you should become preachers or teachers, my brothers and sisters, for you know that we who teach will be judged with a greater strictness. For all of us make many mistakes. Anyone who makes no mistakes with their speaking is perfect. Look at ships. Though they are so large, it takes a strong wind to drive them, yet they are guided by a very small rudder, wherever the will of the pilot directs. So also with the tongue. It's very small, but so powerful. No one can tame the tongue. It's a restless evil. It's full of deadly poison. Have you known that to be true? Have you ever known the power of words? Words can create worlds, and words can destroy them. Words can build up, and words can tear down. And words can be full of poison. And some of us know that very personally. I have a preaching professor from seminary who tells a story about a time when his daughter became an adult. And he said it was really great because they were able to form an adult-to-adult relationship. He said, but it can also be challenging when your children grow up to become adults, because if you're going to have a real adult-to-adult relationship, then sometimes you have to be honest with one another. And one of the things that his daughter remembers about when she was younger is that there was a particular day when he was apparently very angry, and he said to his daughter, "Melody, you are nothing but trouble to me." He said he doesn't remember that. Melody, the light of his life, the sweet child that he loves. He doesn't remember saying that, but she remembers. And 20 plus years later, she's still trying to pull out that poison dart from her heart that her father said. Words can be full of poison. They're very, very difficult. And the letter of James talks about the poisonous power of words in terms of the spirit in which words are offered. Sometimes words that we say can be captive to the spirit of this age. And we know the spirit of this age is full of competitiveness and greed and power and arrogance and pride. And sometimes when we speak in the spirit of this age, it can be captive to those spirits. But it's possible for our words to be captive to another spirit, to the Spirit of God. That when we speak, in the words of James, we would speak not curses, but we would not only bless the Lord our God, we wouldn't curse those made in the image of God, but we would find ways to bless them. There was a theologian, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, that was working during the 1930s and 40s in Germany under the Nazi regime. And he established an illegal seminary for the confessing church called Finkenwald. And in that little seminary, in that little community, they had a rule that everyone in the community was meant to follow, whether they were administrators or teachers or faculty or staff. And this was the rule. No one in the community was to speak of another person in the community unless that person was present, even if you intend good. Can you imagine? Gossip out the window, even prayerful gossip, about prayerful gossip. It's something that happens sometimes in the church, we need to be prayerfully mindful of Jim and Sally. You know what I hear? It's that carefulness with words that comes when we're trying to allow everything that we say to be captive to the Spirit of God, being very careful to use our words to bless one another. It's a change of vision. It's a change of source. And ultimately, this is what James says in verse 13. Who is wise and understanding among you? Show by your life that your good works are done with gentleness and born of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy or selfish ambition in your hearts, don't be boastful or false to the truth. Such wisdom doesn't come from above, but it's earthly, spiritual, and devilish. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, it's gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace for those who make peace. For Christians, we believe that we are surrounded by the grace of God in Jesus Christ, who created all things and wishes to heal and restore all of humanity, but sometimes they don't believe it. Other people don't believe it. And we get to be the ones who come in with our words to offer confidence and assurance to one another of the grace and the love and the blessing and the peace that God would offer. So tonight, talk about your words. Talk about the ways in which they've been poisonous and the ways in which they've been healing. And encourage one another and pray for one another that we might be more careful and deliberate to bless one another with the things that we say.